Okay, well, it's a little after 8:30, so we shall get started. So I'm going to use my call to order. So first is roll call.
So just feel free, Greg, if you don't mind, we'll go down and just say, I'm Greg, I'm here tonight.
I'm Greg, and I'm here tonight.
This is Venkat. I'm here tonight.
This is Anne. I'm here tonight.
And this is Barbara. I'm here tonight.
This is Vandana, and I'm here tonight.
This is Chirag, and I'm here tonight as well.
So our first order is the approval of the agenda from last month. So after looking at it, those of us who were here can vote on it. So I need minutes.
I just want to make sure you guys know I'm here. Rachel Yo.
Yes, thank you, Rachel. So Rachel is here online, and Sudeshan is here as well.
We have a second. Ashley moved to approve the minutes. We have a second.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Abstention? Minutes have been approved. So the next is public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We do not have any public comment for tonight.
Okie dokie. So now we move to new business, and we have 3 new commissioners that we'd all like to meet, and I know you'd like to meet us. So welcome all of you, and I think we'll just have a round table introduction.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't mind, we'll just go through, introduce yourself. You can talk about how long you've been a resident here, how long you've been serving on the commission, just something to help us get to know everyone a little bit better. We can go as well. So my name's Emily Scott. This will be my 2nd full year with the Arts Commission, so there's still a lot that I'm learning, but it's a lot of fun. And I'll let Annalise.
And I'm Annalise Deers. I do the facility rentals for the city, and I have been helping with the Arts Commission, I think, since 2018.
All right, I'm Greg Janke. I started with the commission March of last year, so just entering my first full year, or I guess entering my 2nd full year. I've been living in Sammamish since '99. I'm an industrial designer. I run a small design firm that's located in downtown Issaquah. And I joined because I'm very much interested in pushing forward the idea of public sculpture.
I'm Venkat, and this is my first few hours as. So I have a lot to learn and understand from how this works, and I'll contribute as much as I can for the arts in Sammamish. Been here since '98, but I skipped out for 10 years.
I'm Ann Humes, and I think I'm coming up on starting my 3rd year on the commission, but I'm a terrible historian, so I'm in the Arts Commission. I've been a resident of Sammamish since 2002, and I joined. It was in the middle of the pandemic. I was creating a lot of art myself, and I saw the call for commissioners, and I thought, yeah, I want to be a part of where Sammamish is going in terms of art and how we can build a community around that.
And I'm Barbara. I am entering my 4th year. So this is, my year will be up. By commission stance will be up the end of the year. I lived in Sammamish since 1988, when there were still llama farms up here, and the Safeway had just opened. QFC didn't exist. I do art, and I write, and I dance, and the arts are very much part of my being. And one of the past art commissioners, Margaret, is a neighbor, and said, "Barbara, you have to be an arts commissioner." And I said, "Really?" She says, "Yes, you have to do it." I blamed her yesterday. And I did it. Margaret's not here anymore. She's doing other things. But just the belief that the arts are so important on so many levels, and feeling that if I can do just a tiny, tiny bit to get the arts supported here and recognized, then I've done some good.
Hi, I'm Vandana, and like Venkat said, these are my first few hours, and this is my very first meeting on the Arts Commission, so I'm excited to be here. I've been in Sammamish since 2009, and I come from a design background, so I'm a trained interior designer as well as a fashion designer, but I'm practicing program management. But when I saw the opportunity pop up, I was excited to do my bit for the city and join. So I'm excited to be here and learn from all of you.
All of a sudden I fly through the roof. I am Ashley Arrington. I have lived in Sammamish for 6 years. I think I've been on the Arts Commission for almost 6 years. I have a degree in fashion design. I do all sorts of art. I'm a stay-at-home mother at the moment. And I joined because I was raised that being involved in the community is the best way to create change. And I'm super passionate about art, so this seemed like the right fit.
Hi everyone, I'm Chirag Bindal. I've been a resident of Sammamish since 2015. I work with a data and AI consulting company as a sales leader. When I was a child, I taught myself to play some musical instruments, and I consider myself to be somewhere between an amateur and a semi-professional songwriter and music producer. I did launch an album 10 years ago, so it's available on all music platforms, streaming platforms. Very excited to be part of the Arts Commission, and not just excited but also honored. Look forward to learning from all of you, from fellow commissioners, the city staff, council, and I guess the community at large as well, and do my bit to contribute back to the community. I do believe that arts can play a very powerful role in fostering community engagement and belonging as well. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Lastly, but not the least, my name is Sudeshna, and I have been on the commission the longest, I think, at this point. And if Ashley's been on it for 6 years, probably 6.5, 7, something like that. So, yeah, I've been through COVID and, the commission before that. I also am a design professional. I've been doing user experience design for a long time, but last few years I've switched over to nonprofit work. So I am currently working at an art education nonprofit and doing fundraising for them. And I've been in Sammamish since 1999, so also seen a lot of change happen. And again, as some folks said, it starts from home, and the change that you want to create at home. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to kind of meld my interests, my passions, and just community service. So that's why I'm here.
Great. And Rachel online, are you ready to introduce yourself?
Hi. I didn't know if I was going to go or not, but it's nice to meet you all. And it's so great to hear all of your stories. My name's Rachel Yo. and I've been here since 2016. And I'm an artist and a mother, and it's been an honor to curate exhibits for the City Hall over the last year. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody's bringing to the table. So I'm really excited, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I'm looking forward to the future. Thank you.
Well, welcome everyone, all the oldies and the newbies, to a brand new year. So I'm going to turn it over to you for the fairy houses.
Yeah, sounds great. So last year, I felt like we may have got a little bit of a late start on our fairy house program as I was learning what we do. So this year I didn't want to miss it. Also, the deadline for the rec guide is coming up, and that rec guide gets mailed out to all of the Sammamish residents, so I didn't want to miss that opportunity. So there is a new flyer created in your packet. You can find it with a little bit of information on the fairy houses that will be included in that print that goes out to all the households. And so if that looks good to the group, and I don't know, Ashley, if you want to, do you want to just do a quick, like what the fairy houses is? And it was kind of your project that...
Yeah. So the Fairy House Trail, I don't know if any of you guys have participated in it, but basically we ask the community to make little fairy houses, and then we put them in Beaver Lake Park. And they just have to like be, well, they're supposed to be like from natural things covered in like, so it looks all like, you know, a fairy made it. But I think this is the third or fourth year, right? I think this is the third year.
Yeah, and people do enjoy it. So how it works is folks can start building at home, and then they'll drop them off here at City Hall. We'll collect them all, and then our maintenance team goes out and puts them along the pathways. And then it's out for the summer for people to walk and enjoy. And then we'll go and collect them at the end of the year after Labor Day. Folks can come and pick them up from City Hall to take them home. So it's really fun. People actually like drive from out of town to come and walk and see them all. So yeah, I just wanted to get that one started. So folks can start dropping it off June 1st. If this looks good to the group tonight, we can get it on our website. And then April 15th is when the mailer will go out.
The only thing I'd like to add is that
Yeah.
you might want to have a link to like the requirements, because there's like size limitations,
Okay, yeah.
just like the rules, you know?
Yeah, we can change how it says like more info. Maybe we'll say
maybe, yeah.
like
I didn't see that.
Maybe we'll say
Or maybe just like a QR code that like
yeah, QR code.
they take a picture of and it goes straight to that information. They're not searching for it.
I agree. Okay.
I have some concern about the location. Has it been finalized?
Not finalized. So we did switch it. It was originally at Pine Lake. Pine Lake, unfortunately, the fairy houses were vandalized. So we did last year switch it over to Beaver Lake Preserve. We didn't have any issues with vandalism, so we were planning on keeping it there. But if there's another location idea, we could definitely discuss it.
So I did go to the Beaver Lake Preserve walk, and I think one of the reason it wasn't vandalized is because it wasn't advertised and nobody knew where it was. The other reason is not a lot of people know about the preserve or the trail that the fairy houses are in, so it's really hard for people to find. And just speaking from the perspective of people who've made them, I think they were pretty disappointed about the low turnout or just the fact that people didn't know they were there. So I was wondering if we could move it to a more prominent location, which is, I mean, I know there's always the problem of vandalism, but if there's any other place that we could consider, or, you know, just commit to better signage and providing better information, I think.
I also think like the vandalism's just the risk you're gonna have anywhere you put it. So I'm not like, I don't care. I don't have a dog in the fight of which park it's at. But if you are gonna put it here, I do think you need to have better signage.
Yeah, so it's up to the commission. It's a commission-run program.
Yeah.
So you guys decide what location. If you want to keep it and do signage, we'll create signage. If you want to switch locations, that's totally fine too. We can go back to Pine Lake it's up to this group.
And actually, it's not at the park though. It's at the Beaver Lake Preserve, which is different than the park. So not many people know about it. And it's not even where you park your car at the preserve. It's you have to walk across to the other side, and it's a little hard to find.
And Rachel, you have your hand up if you want to speak.
Oh.
Yes. I was wondering, what if it went where the temporary fence is going to go? Because there's already going to be kind of a draw to that area.
Which is she talking about? The bee, the
Big
pollination?
Rock South. Yeah, Big Rock South. That's where the pollinator fence is going to be going. It's an idea.
I don't care. I just want to make sure people can find it and that it's, fun.
Yes,
Is that
and I think
easy for people to navigate that park?
it is. Big Rock Park South is awesome. It's a new park, so I think we will get more visitors to the park. And if there is other things going on, like the pollinator panels, then we will definitely get more traffic. I just feel the preserve is not the best location just because it's so hidden away and not many people go there.
Sounds great to me.
Yep. So someone just make a motion with the location, and then we'll vote on it, and we'll get it changed.
I make a motion that the ferry houses get relocated to South Big Rock Park.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The idea? Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? The ayes have it.
Perfect. Sounds good. Okay, so next for new business, at our last meeting, we decided to set aside $10,000 for a temporary sculpture that will go in front of City Hall for the summer months. Kind of typical to how we did the sand sculpture. It was agreed that it didn't have to be a sand sculpture this year. We would open it up to some form of temporary art that also matched the theme of the city's 25th birthday. So in your printed packet, there is a write-up for an RFQ. A write-up RFQ is a little different than an RFP. It's a little quicker, and it's request for quote, I think is what it stands for. But for qualifications, that's right. Request for qualifications. So the questions there are what we're looking for artists to submit. We are going to leave it open till April 12th, which means that all the applications we can bring back to this group at our April meeting, and then award an artist so that they have enough time. You guys tell me if you think this timeline makes sense. Enough time to have art go up in July.
They'll return their RFQs, but we won't have an idea of what they want to actually put there, right? This is just saying like, I'm qualified to do it, or is it like a proposal for what they want to put in that space?
Yeah, we did ask for a proposal of what they want to put there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're just
we'll have a
basically
clear
voting
idea.
in April on what they're suggesting to put there. Got it.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for clarification.
Yeah. So
My one concern is like what's going on with the sculpture out here.
yeah.
We're going to have to go to city council to get approval. No?
Not for this one.
Oh, then never
It's below
mind.
a certain threshold. Yeah.
Okay,
So-
then never mind.
which we're hopeful it should be able to go pretty quickly. So in the submission requirements, you'll see that there is required a written statement about their interest in the project, their resume, website, so some information on the artist, and then a design and explanation of the art.
Is there anything, and I'm just scanning this for the first time, is there anything in here about referencing the 25th anniversary and making sure that it represents that aspect?
Yes, so that is one of the requirements. They have to explain how their design meets the desired theme, which higher in the document does say the project is 25 years of Sammamish. It's our 25th anniversary of incorporation. And then there's some links to find out a little bit more about the history of Sammamish, because we understand not all artists will be from here and know all that.
A question.
Rachel has her hand up.
Thank you, Barbara. Yes, Rachel.
A question.
So
Oh.
can we make sure that this one is posted on Floriculture? Can we send that out to them?
Yeah. Yep, we can send it to Floriculture.
I didn't hear who send it to who?
Floriculture.
Floriculture?
Okay, thank you.
How are such RFQs advertised?
Yeah, great question. So once this group, once we say this is what we want, the clerk's office helps us. It is posted in newspaper print. It's on our website, and then other applicable websites like Floriculture or any other ones that we know or can think of. It gets posted.
Yeah, could you also add Artist Trust and Arts Fund to that?
Yes. Artist Fund and what was that? Artist Trust and Arts Fund. Thank you.
I wanted to get some clarification on this one. It said it should withstand outdoor conditions, and so is it sand, or can somebody build out of timber? Or?
Yeah, so we did open this one up to, it could be different types of material. In the past, traditionally it has been sand, and surprisingly enough, the artist would kind of coat it in like a protective layering that it did withhold through the summer. So it didn't disintegrate like you would assume a sand sculpture would. But this particular project doesn't have to be sand, but a sand artist could bid on it if they want to.
So do we need to get approval on the RFP?
I mean, it'd make me feel good if you guys said you liked it. You don't have to, I can post it anyway, but it would be good if you guys.
Where can I see the RFQ?
Sure. Do you have access to your email at the moment?
I'm using it for the Zoom.
Okay. I can
Well,
put it on
does everybody think it looks good? Are we missing anything?
What looks good?
The RFQ. I think it looks good.
Okay.
I mean, the map, or?
No, just the form, what they're going to have to do to present their work.
Oh.
If folks want more time to.
What?
If everyone wants more time to take this home and read over it, and Rachel, I can email it to you. It's okay I can collect if there's a glaring conflict or something someone wants changed. If they could get it to me by Friday.
You could email. Yeah, that would be fine. I could definitely.
So, and again, just glancing at it, is there? I don't see a timeline for installation, but did I miss that?
So it says the time period would be July 1 to September 30th of 2024.
Okay.
But that means it has to be up before July 1st.
Yeah, like ready to go for the public to see by July 1.
So we would be awarding the contract at the end of April, and then they would have until June 25th or something to figure out what they want to do and install it.
Yeah, so if that timeline does feel too short, you guys tell me and we can make the application period shorter.
Yeah. I think we just need to make it clear in the RFQ so the artists, when they're looking at it, can go, oh yeah, I can do that, or ooh, yeah, no, not going to work. So I don't know.
we can make that stand out a little bit more.
Okay, thanks.
So we'll let you know by Friday.
That's fine. Yeah, take it home. Rachel, I'll send it to you. Read it over, and then if I don't hear from you, I'll assume all is good. But if you see something or have a question, email me by Friday. By Monday, I'll move forward with the clerk's office to get it posted, just because we don't want to sit on it for too long.
Is this a tradition we follow where we ask an artist to come in, create something, and then tear it down later?
Great question.
Is that like something, asking some, let's say Van Gogh come here and then draw something and then tear it apart later? I mean, art should be kept, right? Don't you think?
It's a good discussion to have. Yeah. So temporary art. I mean, in the past we have always
It's
done.
quite good. There's $10,000 in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it has been done in the past. We have also have, permanent art that stays up for a long time. So it is part of the budget of the Arts Commission is they do get to decide how to spend some of those funds. And unfortunately, you guys weren't at the last meeting, but this was one of the projects that was decided. But it's a good conversation to have if anyone from the commission wants to add. Or
That's a great point, because is it possible to then move the art from a prime location to a different part of the city?
Yeah, even to donate, maybe,
So part of the problem we're currently having is that we are in the middle of doing a DEID. Are those all the right letters? I don't know.
Art strategic plan. Is that what you're?
No. Oh, but yeah, we're doing an art strategic plan, and then we have another permanent piece of art we're trying to do. So the city council's kind of put us on hold to not do anything permanent until we get the strategic plan moving forward. So we're just trying to find creative ways to spend the budget and do things and provide new art that.
I mean, this discounts a lot of types of art, right? I mean, if you want temporary, music is temporary.
Yeah, which is totally fine. It's just they can apply. They could come and do art they could come and play every day for $10,000, It's open to anybody.
I think one thing with this too to keep in mind is come September 30th, nowhere in here are we purchasing the art. So if someone creates a sculpture of some kind, they can take it. The artist will take it home with them September 30th. That's how we have this written.
Or they could, if they wanted to, they could donate it.
They could, but yes, this request for qualifications doesn't. We don't speak about actually purchasing and keeping the art.
Should it be something in there that I don't know that we can do this, but I know other cities do this. When I was interested in doing the sculpture park and I wanted to have artists rotating, but in the language I was Chris and I were working on it, we had the option to buy anything that was posted, in the sculpture park. I guess we don't have the
there are
budget
some
to do
other
it
issues
anyways.
too, right? I mean, if you have a native artist come and then do something, let's say carve something in wood or put a totem pole or something, right? Asking them to take it away and all that might ruffle some feathers, I guess, right? I mean,
But if they know that going into it, it's not like it's a surprise that will spring.
I know.
on them
What
after
if
they're
we
done.
like it? What if we like it so much?
Well, that's something we would add into the strategic art.
Oh, okay.
Or we pick when we.
It's not like the art has to be
we
destroyed.
pick when we.
Right? It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah. I mean, that's
it's a
what I said.
temporary installation, and I'm sure we could help find a new home for it,
Yeah, that'll be good.
even if that's storage, while we figure out what we're doing, right?
And it's the temporary nature of the art, so I think it might also be unfair for us to put that clause in there, because then people would start thinking about how to make it permanent. So I would
that's a good
not
point.
recommend we do that.
Yeah.
And there are artists out there who just do temporary art. Like the sand sculpture, every single thing she creates, she knows is going to be
Washed
demolished.
away.
Yeah.
The last one that they put up was very beautiful looking. I mean, I have no heart to kind of take it apart,
That piece that's at Seattle Art Museum in the main foyer that looks like a tree. Do you know the story behind that piece? The artist, who's actually going to be coming to speaking to us at the Bellevue Arts Museum docents meeting. Anyway, he goes out into the forest and he finds fallen trees. And he gets permission through the Forestry Service to be able to make a mold of the tree and take the wood with him. And he creates these sculptures. As soon as he's done showing the pieces, that piece, that tree that he created goes back to exactly where he got it, and it's every piece is placed to where they found it. So what looks like permanent art is not. It's going to be returned to the earth, to where it came from. So it's temporary art.
That's true. Everything is temporary.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I mean, the only thing I've known is probably dinosaur bones, right? I mean, they're the ones that are like semi-permanent.
Yeah.
Rest is all.
Yeah.
So, just in the interest of moving along, are we okay looking at it and giving feedback by Friday? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what do you want to do now, Emily?
I'm actually going to pass it over to Sudeshna to speak about the partnership with the library.
Okay. Because I'm just, when we're going to stick in the... Okay.
Okay. So for the new commissioners, just wanted to give you a little bit of background. I've been working with some Amish libraries since, well, I was hoping to work with them last year to kind of create a literary, so there's a little typo in this, it's not literacy, it's literary program with high school kids or, adults or, some other creative ways of bringing art and writing together. Last year, unfortunately, because they were understaffed and because we had issues, it didn't work out. But this year we went, Barbara and I met with them in January, and we were just discussing options of or program, what programming could look like this year. And we wanted to make sure we get in early so we get time to think about the programs and spend the money that we have and not let it go to waste. So we did brainstorm a little bit on the programs, and they are also brainstorming on their side. Some of the programs that might end up us sponsoring are things like calling native artists and doing like a native art demonstration with students from the high schools or from other schools, or getting young adult authors and having a workshop with them on how to publish a book or how to edit a book or whatever, a poetry workshop, or the NaNoWriMo, which is the National Novel Writing Month in November, and so on. So there are two programs that they came back with that they would like us to sponsor. One is it's called Thistle Theater, and they're going to do a Winnie the Pooh show, and it's based on the Japanese bunraku puppetry. So they're asking for $600 for that, and it's going to be open to the public, so anybody can come and watch it. And they're proposing that they do it in June of this year. And then the second one is a young adult author called Sarah Caput, and she's a local author. She lives in Bellevue, and she's published 3 or 4 or 5 books in like the middle school, high school category. And she wants to do a letter writing activity because her latest book is about pen pals and something around that. So she wants to do a letter writing activity, and that is scheduled to be in July, and she's asking $500 for that. So these two are programs that we can definitely help sponsor while we brainstorm on other activities that we can do to support literary art in Sammamish. So what I'm looking for right now is for you all to give me the authority to go back and say, yes, we can do it. Yes, which was approved last year, so I'm not sure if that carries over. I think it was 3,000. Oh, okay. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and we can take a look at it.
I make a motion that we approve $600 for Winnie the Pooh and $500 for the author letter writing activity.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, did you have questions?
I said aye. I said aye.
Aye. Everybody said aye, right?
Is it okay if I just raise my hand when I'm saying aye? Will that suffice with you guys?
Yeah, that works
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
So next is the double-sided wall update.
Yeah. It's done. I went over a little while ago to the Parks and Rec building and saw the fabricated model. It was only one wall at the time, but the other two have been completed since, and I think we're in good shape with it. It's an aluminum frame with plywood faces. So the aluminum itself is pretty light, easy for people to pick up. The plywood makes it a little bit heavier, but it's not impossible. One side of each plywood face is primered so that it's ready for the what do we call it? The selfie wall where people can paint and do selfies. The other side of the panel is the chalk wall. So we could have, what is it? They're 4x6 sheets, so we could have 12 feet of chalk wall on one side and 12 feet of art on the other, or 12 feet of chalk on both sides. It's designed to be modular so that we can update it as we go. If later in life we want it to have, be clear acrylic for some reason, for I think there was a talk of translucency and shadows, we can do that. But right now the first three walls are opaque, primered on one side, chalk on the other.
I have a question for you, Greg.
Yeah.
When we started this, the artist sold stencils for the Before I Die wall. They no longer sell the stencils. Is that something you could help me?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
So when do we get to see it?
Yeah, next question. When do you guys
I didn't
wanna
bring my
use it?
laptop. Do you have the PDF?
Yeah, give me.
Yeah.
And while she's pulling it up, when do we do our first unveiling of the wall?
It's nothing's planned. I don't remember who initiated it. I just jumped on it last year to help get it fabricated. So now
That
we
was
have,
Ashley, yes.
Cool.
So I need to get the
Ashley's got the
stencil.
vision.
Yeah,
We've
I
got parts now for your vision to become realized.
Perfect. So I just need to get help with the stencil because I tried to buy it a couple months ago and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, we can have them laser cut.
Perfect. And then hopefully I can have it done. I mean, I'd like to have it done before summer because that's ideally when it would be out.
That's plenty of time because the walls are done now. So it's a matter
Yeah.
of figuring out what the stencils are and getting them placed and then where it's going to go.
Exactly. Do we have, because Shawnee wanted to do the other side with the art, and what do we want to do? Do we want to find an artist to do the wings like she had suggested? Do we want to find an artist to do something different? What do you guys want to do with or just leave the other side blank and let people go wild?
I want to
think
see this
it's
thing
worthwhile
first.
asking Shani if she wants to be involved in it.
There we go. So there's some pictures of at this point the wall the panels weren't painted, but the frames are aluminum welded and powder coated. Oh, there we go. Cool. So the white is primer, so it's ready for any painting to be applied, and the black is the chalkboard material. And so each of those panels is one side paint, other side chalk. So you could checkerboard it if you wanted. You could have everything be the same. It's designed to be modular.
They also were able to fabricate it that it can make this triangle shape, which is kind of fun. These pieces.
Yeah. So this came. I didn't work with them on this. The fabricators figured out a way to link the walls together so that they wouldn't be independent of each other, and it's really, I think it's pretty clever.
How many panels are there?
3.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe like 100 panels so you could make a maze out of it. Let people walk through the whole thing and not come out.
Well, now we've gone through this exercise. I mean, we could certainly have more. I mean, if it's something that is successful and desirable and all that.
I mean, every artist can express their ideas through this, right? It's so beautiful to be able to display.
Yeah, so we can always revisit this, but start thinking of ideas where we can use it. We can ask, at farmers markets or city events. We can always put stuff up at city events. Here at City Hall, we can do like a pop-up when people come in. Just think of ideas and we can chat about it at the next meeting.
When does the farmers market start?
First week of May. It's on Wednesdays.
Okay.
May all the way till it's like September 24th this year. They go
Okay.
late into September.
So maybe I'll try to have it done before. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else on the walls? Thank you, Greg. Good work.
Okay, so I am actually going to jump in here. My mistake, I forgot to put one of our biggest agenda tasks for February, which is our grants. Our grant cycle closed in January. Our subcommittee for the grants program reviewed all of the applications. We had over $50,000 of ask come in. At our last meeting, we decided to award $25,000. The subcommittee did their due diligence, read through the applications, graded, and has decided on how much funding each applicant will get. From this point, after tonight, I do have to take these numbers to council. They'll go to council on consent, and then once those are approved, then we can let the grant applicants know. All these grants are reimbursable, so the programming will have to happen, and then we will reimburse them before the end of this calendar year. So, and if you don't mind me sharing the spreadsheet that you had put together.
By all means, I was going to ask
That's
if you
okay?
had the information
Okay.
because I didn't bring it. So, Emily, what's not on here is the tally of what we graded them against the rubric. I didn't have everybody's information. I don't know if you had a chance to pull that together, but
I do have everyone's. It's not in an easy file to share, but your, I double checked all the percentages and everything, and this spreadsheet is correct. So we can confidently move forward with this. And then if anyone has specific questions, I can pull up rubrics, but the job of the subcommittee is really to make the commission's life easier so that we don't have to go through all of these. So if anyone has a specific question to ask the subcommittee, feel free. If not, we can move forward with the work you guys did.
Have the new commissioners seen the grants?
No, because they started after the end of the cycle closed.
Is there a way you can maybe just show us? So,
the applications?
yeah, like just what we're
Sure.
looking at and like associating with the stuff.
I'll just go in the order, so I'll pull some of them up here.
I have a question. Some of these people in the spreadsheet, right? They're not from Sammamish. Does that count?
That's correct. So the projects have to take place within Sammamish, but the artists don't necessarily have to be a resident. But the artwork or the programming or the project has to take place within Sammamish city limits. So this is Drawing Herd. They have been a funded grant awarding it. They've been awarded grant funding in the past. We do have 8 applications. So, can I suggest if there's a specific one that someone wants to dig into, we can go into it, but or do
Maybe
you
we can
want me-
just do a 1 minute just walk
That's
through
what I was
them.
thinking, like, just a very
through
brief,
but
like-
just do a brief overview.
Yeah. And maybe the people who
Yeah,
did
we
the
can- we
grading
can
can
do
do
that.
it.
So if you go back to the spreadsheet, It's right there. This is the tab next to it. On top. Same screen. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I can do Coco. She is a resident of Sammamish, and she's an artist. She has worked with us in the past. I think we've given her 2 grants, and they've been very well used. So what she does is she goes into parks and she brings her own drawing horses with her, and gets a community partner to kind of help her with the process. So the one that I attended was in the Sammamish Lower Commons, and she had asked the native plant stewards to come and help talk about this area and native plants, and then we did drawings of the leaves and other things that we found here. So she's gotten a really good response, and we thought that she should get the money that she's asking for. She's asking to do 10 workshops in different places around Sammamish, and I think it'll be a really good public benefit, and it's free, and people can come and just sit outside and enjoy doing art.
And it looks like she has done something similar a couple of times in the past,
Yeah.
which has been
Yeah,
received well.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. The second one is called Vulgar Dreamer, and this person presented us with ideas of wayfinding ideas, and what she had presented was a very temporary piece of art that we didn't really understand what that would look like. So we were just a little bit concerned about how the end result would look like and what the public benefit for that would be, because the proposal, as far as I remember, was about having these wayfinding signs for different art installations around Sammamish, which we don't have a lot of. So it really wasn't something that we were 100% behind, and we thought maybe she could apply to the $10,000 grant that we are opening up for the temporary sculpture. Add on to it if I've missed out anything.
Yeah, I actually really liked this idea, especially for our 25th anniversary in Sammamish, and then the new DEI sculpture that should be installed this year. Okay, just checking. Because I think it could be a way to drive a little more traffic to see it. That's all. And as far as the application goes, I thought it was clear what they were asking for,
Yep.
Especially in relation to some of the other applications that were not as clear. So.
So the next one was by Bridget Kirk, called Floor Films. She's actually a choreographer. Her art is dance. And she wants to create an experiential performance where people can come and sit on the floor and lie on the floor and see films and also see dance incorporated. We had some concern about the community interest in the program, but we haven't done anything like this before, so we really don't know. But it's different, and she's going to take on the advertising of it, and also all of the equipment. She's going to buy some equipment with her grant money, but just the whole concept sounded really interesting to us.
This is like the worst thing on the planet for me. Can
I
we
know,
go back to the others?
I know.
Do we have any say in the advertising? Not like trying to control her, but just making sure that it's like in the right avenues to make sure people know what's happening. Like make sure it's in the newsletter or something.
Well, I think that's something that we can talk to her about, because of course we want it to be advertised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we help.
Yeah. And she also knows a lot of people in her community that she spoke of bringing into working, because she works with I think when I saw her, there were 6 performers, and they were quite astounding. Huh?
What kind of dance did
It's contemporary, modern, all over the place kind of stuff, and it's really quite intriguing.
Do you have any pictures?
Huh?
Any pictures?
No.
No.
They're on. Here she is. This is her. There we have. She sent us. There she is, right there. The one that I saw, they were interacting with an exhibition in a gallery. So it was the dance with the art. This is the one in the gallery. And they brought live music with them. Okay. Next.
So this one, I think we just wanted to get a little more clarity from Francis requesting, because it looked like they presented a balanced budget. So I'm like, what are you going to use the money for? If your budget's balanced, right? So that was kind of what it wasn't clear to me. So I think before we would award that, I'd like to get some clarity on that.
And just to give you some history, she's asked us for money before, and last year, the way the proposal was written, again, we had concerns. So we did go back to her and said, the proposal's main focus was give us money to rent the venue so we can reduce our fees to the participants. But last time the committee thought maybe we could give the money to somebody who needs scholarships, and would you be willing to do that? And they came back with a negative. So I'm not sure, and that's why I was asking you for details. I'm not sure if we did end up giving them money, but that was a concern that I think was brought up again this year with different committee members. So we just want to ask them follow-up questions and see what happens.
Yeah, so the last grant cycle, the commission did give sponsorship dollars for someone to sign up to participate in these programmings, and that grant wasn't used for the summer programming. But I agree, it was written very specifically. When I read this proposal, I was thinking it was for venue space in order to host the program, but we can clarify with an email before moving forward.
Yeah, and it's a kids choir. Kids choir. Yeah. So Olna Melnick is local. Melnick is local. She's a choir teacher. And she has this program to bring children in to create music and to have a choir. So I don't quite remember.
Oh,
She was looking for money to rent space so she didn't have to do it in her home.
yeah, she was looking for space as well as renting music sheets and some equipment.
So what she was looking for, so that she could do performances and aiming for 2 public performances per year. So hall rental, liability insurance, printing, music sheet licensing, music arrangement, lighting, accompanist fee, piano tuning, musical instruments, and let's see, additional funding for hall rental for rehearsals. They're rehearsing in her private residence right now, which limits the size of the choir. So they need a place where they can grow and where they can rehearse, and then also video and photography. Look at them.
Is the CWU, do you have to pay to rent the gymnasium?
I believe so.
Okay.
Maybe a newbie question, but if somebody is not given the 100% grant but only 50%, where do they get rest of the money from that they were looking for?
Good question. So some programs will decide to move forward, and since it's a reimbursable grant, they will finish with their program or their concert, whatever it may be, and then we can reimburse them for whatever the amount we said. Other times I have seen where their program can't move forward if they don't have any more funding. So I never see the project move forward if they don't receive full funding, but there are other sources folks can go to. Anne, did you have something? Did I jump in front of you there?
No, I was just going to say kind of what you said. All of the applications were submitted with we asked them to state what they would do if they didn't get full funding. So, yeah. So most of them have a contingency plan. Yeah.
So the next one was Namaste India, and they were asking for $25,000. I think we all went, oh, we saw that. It's what she wants to do is put on an event that focuses on one culture rather than the entire community. And part of the grant is that it supports the community as a whole. So we felt that the costs for artists was exceptionally high, and she didn't have an explanation. She used to be.
She's an arts commissioner from Redmond, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was also Washington State Arts Commissioner. And just bit of background, we have given her money in the past because the city used to work with her to host an event here, and the Parks Department used to work with her, and we've given her like $1,000 or something over a couple of years.
And I think, if I remember correctly, Sudeshna, you said that this event will happen no matter whether or not we grant them any money or not, but whatever we can do is kind of a nice gesture.
So if it's 8%, right? So what are we expecting? At least some participation from people in Sammamish?
Yeah, so the event is going to happen in Sammamish, is what I understand.
Is that clear? I mean,
in the past, it's been at the Vedic Cultural Center and also here at the plaza. I'm not sure where she's planning to host the event this year, but again, if this is something that she doesn't want, or if it's not going to be hosted in Sammamish, we can go back and say we don't want to commit.
Okay.
She said the event would be here at the City Hall campus.
If you don't mind.
And finally was Piali Biswas from, tell me if I'm pronouncing these right, from Sadhama? What?
Sadhana.
Thank you. She has approached us before to get money, and she did not meet the minimum criteria per the rubric. It was more for running her business and promoting her business than bringing something to the community. So we chose not to grant her any money for her project. And there you have it. I mean, if everybody, after we get some clarity on a couple of these, and everybody accepts their grant money, we will have awarded $25,000 in grants as proposed.
And I just want to add my concern about making sure that we do end up giving money to them and we're not left with money in the end and we have no idea what to do with it. So maybe just figuring out a system of, some checks and balances where we're following up with them, making sure that they are on point to deliver, and they are submitting the invoices on time, because we definitely don't want to eat up next year's budget or waste this year's budget. So, coming up with something.
Yeah, so they have until the end of the calendar year to invoice us. So it's a little, like drawing herd that takes place in the summer. They'll be paid and done probably by September 15th. But if any of these programs, like just the kids choir decides to hold a choir December 15th performance and it doesn't end up happening, it just really depends on when they plan to spend the funds. But we can definitely, try and urge them along to get invoices into us on a timely manner if they're going to run their programming, which they will, because they'll want the reimbursement.
So is there a wait list thing? Everywhere there are wait lists, right? There's nothing. And so why can't we have wait lists? I mean, today it was snowing. You couldn't have done a outdoor dance program today. So, I mean, who knows what will happen when?
And the dance program is going to be indoors. She's looking for a place to do it.
No, I'm not saying this. I'm saying somebody proposes something. It doesn't happen, force majeure or whatever, right? Yeah, so money is left behind because it's only reimbursed, right? So what happens then?
They have until the end of the year. So we're kind of caught, right? Because they have until the end of the year to invoice us. If they don't, then it's probably too late for us to turn around and do anything else. So we can't pull it from them early because of the requirements of the grant. So it is a little bit of a risk.
Is there like a deadline they submit to, or they say, okay, I do this by March?
Like something. December 10th, I think, right? I mean, or we need.
No, I'm saying if I'm calling Vivaldi to play spring, right? Mm-hmm. 4 seasons. He's not going to do it in summer, right?
I don't.
So is there like a deadline they specify?
I don't think we have any governance over how they conduct their business until the invoice comes in. I don't think we can put those contingencies in, Emily, but
no, I mean, we already kind of closed their time frame because applications close in January. Now it's February, we're reviewing them. I have to take it to council on consent. So in all reality, I probably won't have contracts to these folks until end of March. So then that only gives them until the end of March till the end of December to spend the money. That's pretty much the only time frame we can put on these folks. They do tell us up front in their application when they expect to host different events. Like Namaste India mentioned October. So we kind of have a time frame of when we're thinking these things will happen. But yes, there is an application deadline. So people have to get there, and they know this timeline of when they can use the funding is all posted up front as well. So hopefully folks do their best to plan ahead. But yeah,
no, but if they don't, then we kind of lose the money, right? That's what Vandana's.
So the problem in the past has been when they don't submit the invoice on time and they submit it in, say, February, then it comes from our next year's budget, which we don't want to happen. Or sometimes, like the Spotlight Theatre, we granted them money, but they never submitted an invoice. So in December, we're scrambling to figure out how to use that money so it doesn't go waste. And that's kind of what we want to avoid. But having a wait list, I'm not sure if that would work, just because people have to plan in advance to create an event. And it's not like we can say, oh, you're on the waiting list. If something doesn't work out, then...
Not necessarily wait list, but how about some self-proclaimed, or it says admitting some deadlines or whatever. I mean, this event will happen, it's planned at this time. If not, if this force measure, whatever, this is the second date when we are...
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying, that we need to have some checks or just check-ins with them and make sure that they are proceeding in as they said they would. And also, it's a good idea for us to brainstorm in some other meeting to figure out what happens if that money is not used, how can we spend it. And the boards that Greg was showing earlier, that kind of came from that, like, we want to spend the money, how can we do it? So that's an option.
We do have a few check-ins. So first check-in, they have to return their signed contract. Then they send us in a mid-project report, so like a one-pager halfway through, and they can either say, where are you with planning this? And then they have to send us a final report with photos and numbers and a copy of their program. And so we do check in with them kind of 3 times throughout. And then, we're happy to help advertise. So if someone says, hey, we are doing this program, can you help us? We can help them in that way. But those are kind of the 3 built-in check-ins in the contract.
Thanks. Any precedence numbers? Anything? What percentage of grants go not from previous years? How much has there not been utilized? What percentage? 25% is not
it's too
utilized?
high.
Or?
I don't think it's too high. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I have a newbie question. I presume that the leftover money doesn't roll over to the next fiscal?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Especially this year. We're on a biannual budget, so 2023, 2024 kind of mirror each other. And then pretty soon the city will start planning for 2025, 2026 here soon. But you're correct. It's not a savings account. It won't roll over. Each year we start with a new amount of funds.
Is there a way to roll over the budget?
That is an on-topic question for this group. It's really not preferred. In an emergency situation, if you have a project that's halfway, that if you have a project underway that's half the funds have been used for and something happens and it didn't get completed by the deadline, there is a way to do it, but it's not, finance won't just do it because there's leftover funds. There has to be something under contract, a plan in place for how to spend the money. Good question, though.
So it looks good to me as long as you get clarification on the things that you have issues with. And then I guess do we have to vote on this?
Sure, let's vote. It'll be good practice.
Let's vote.
Okay, so I propose that we move forward as suggested with clarification on Spotlight. Anything else needed?
No.
That's it. Okay. With the amounts listed on this Excel.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? And no abstentions. Oh, I didn't say aye. So you're on, Emily. You get to go to city council.
Yes, I will send that email to the one in question just to make sure that we're all on the same understanding of how the funds will get used. And then we'll put it on the first calendar we can to get in front of council and contracts
And then
will
I
go
have
out.
a question. I probably should have asked this before we voted, but if we don't like what they want to do, what do we do with that money?
I'll bring it back to this group and we can discuss.
Will it just go back into the general, or can we give it to, I know we didn't give all the money to the floor lady, right?
Yeah, that's something that we can
Yeah.
discuss in the next
Okay.
meeting.
You mean if city council doesn't approve?
We don't like
No, if
whatever
we don't like-
clarification she comes back with.
Oh, gotcha. okay.
Spotlight comes back with something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, Emily, will you be following up an email with us so we can do this in between now and when this goes before the city council? Because I know this is a tight timeline.
Yes, so for the question, I think I can only send it to the subcommittee, so we don't have a whole quorum on the email. So I think we all have the right understanding that they are going to use the funds for a venue, but we'll double check. If it comes back as glaringly different, we really misunderstood, we'll bring it back to the full group. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, and if you look at their budget, it's balanced. So it's basically they're saying that the costs are going to be outweighed by the ticket sales. So if we take the $5,000 out, then they're going to be I just think understanding how that's going to shape their budget is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Moving on, we have our staff updates. First is the Art Strategic Plan RFP update.
Yeah, so the RFP that we've all mentioned so much, we had a really exciting, great turnout of applications. We had 8 applications submitted, which is a lot. I've gone through them and all of them are very qualified. There's not one that stands out as, they just threw their name in the hat. So what that means is we have a lot of work as staff. These are really big documents. So there's 3 people, Janie, myself, and Anjali, our director, are going through to do an initial scan for qualification. So basically, we're just making sure that all of the requirements of the RFP are met. We're just scanning them to make sure it is a complete, and it took me 2 hours to read one of them today. So it's going to take us a minute. But after that, we're hoping to narrow it down to our top 4. The RFP subcommittee will then get involved. We're going to hand it off to that group. And it's going to time to be reading all of them and grading. After that, we do have the opportunity to do interviews with these folks. And then based on the ones that we decide, we'll take that group to council and get a contract in place and get the project moving. So good news is really awesome folks applied. Even like any city project, everyone was really excited about how many people we had. So it's good.
Because we're good.
It's good,
We're
yeah.
Good. So you said the staff is going to narrow it down to the top 4. Then after that, you're going to take it to the subcommittee. We'll be able to see the top 4. The interviews, who does the interviews? Is that staff or the subcommittee or both or?
Yeah, so it'll be a combo. So definitely myself, Janie, and Anjali want to sit in on that, and then the subcommittee. You guys are welcome to join as observers. If we want one person to actually be a panelist, like a grader, there's the opportunity for that. We don't want to make it too giant of a group, but talk it over as a subcommittee and let me know. And then if there's anybody else who's interested in it, who's not currently on the subcommittee, let's chat and we can get you involved in some way.
Okay. And are those recorded and everything so we can have more than a quorum or a quorum?
No, that's
Okay.
why we didn't. No, they're not.
Okay.
So there is the option to do them. Most of them will probably be conducted virtually. There's an interesting mix of very local and then some that have team members who are local, but they may also not, be out of the area. So they will probably be conducted virtually.
Okay.
So folks can sit in and listen.
I have a question. How does the council manage things like this? Would they have just one council member be doing the interviewing with 3 staff members? How does that work?
I'm pretty sure I've never heard of council sitting in on these. Like staff typically handle finding consultants. They'll bring the consultant, present to council, and then council will vote on it during a council meeting.
So, but like the top 4 consultants would then present to council? Or
Would
just the
present to the
top?
staff, and then staff would make their recommendation to council of who to go into
Okay.
contract with.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to still have to do that?
Yeah, for a contract this big, $75,000 definitely needs to go in front of council.
Okay. Yeah, just double checking. Thank you.
Can we kind of get some media? If you're interviewing something, any excerpts, any photographs, anything?
Of the folks who applied?
No, what their work is about and all that.
Oh, yeah. So their applications that they submitted are like 20, 30-page documents with a lot of that
With
information.
photographs and everything?
Yeah, and also links to their work and past work they've done. So I can
So we can review.
get that to everybody. Yeah. No problem. So that's my update. Any other questions?
Are we going to go over who's on what subcommittees today?
We are. Yeah, I can pull that up.
Maybe because I need a refresher.
Sure. I think two at the last one.
The only one I know I'm on is the Art Strategic Plan.
Same.
Me too.
Yeah, I think Greg had some interest in the art strategic plan as well.
Yeah.
It does need some updating since we have some new commissioners. We've had some commissioners leave, so that we can definitely do that.
Let's loop them in.
Do you mind if we do that one at the end? We'll continue on to the DEI sculpture update. So our DEI sculpture, when we met for orientation, I had mentioned this is going to be the project that's happening right outside here. So the artist did have a conflict tonight and wasn't able to present. I'm hoping that she'll be able to present in March with a design concept that if this group feels comfortable with, it then still needs to be reviewed by staff and council and then can go to fabrication to get created. So that's where we're at with the DEI sculpture. We're just waiting for a design to come in from the artist. And then the pollinator fence panels, that's a fun project going on that I know the Arts Commission, some folks have, Barbara got to jump in and help with a little bit. So as mentioned earlier, Big Rock Park South, we are opening up a portion of that park. A portion of it is not going to be open yet until a later phase. So instead of doing just chain link fence, we decided to create a little bit more of a visually appealing fence and have worked with school groups. Last year we had fence panels at different events for people to paint on. And there's actually panels back here for folks to take home to get involved, but this is essentially what the fence will look like in the park. We just wanted to mention it to this group in case anyone wants to get involved, paint a panel. Barbara actually helped us lay out the order that these will go because we have some from kindergartners all the way up to really talented artists who have done super detailed designs. So we just wanted to place them in a nice order. So that's just a general update.
But they're really fun. It was just being in a room with hundreds of these things. Okay, what's going to go with what? We need to mix this up. We need to mix that. No, don't touch that one. That's the one I wanted. So we had so much fun doing it, and they're great. Every single one of them has its own personality. So I'm really excited to see them go up. And I'll tell you, the three that were putting this together, they could all look at something and in their mind figure out what the measurements were and where something would go without even using a tape measure. Wow. And for me, I still count on my fingers, and 1 + 1 doesn't logically equal 2. So it just was amazing to see them in action.
So is this installed now, or are you guys still working on that?
It's in progress. So we've been collecting fence panels. The ribbon cutting to that park is going to be March 22nd, and it's going to be all installed then. But we still need to create more because there's more fence paneling that we need to cover. We still don't have enough for the size that we want. So it's going to be this growing, evolving fence line.
So Emily's brought
Wondered.
some panels there in the back of the room. I'm taking 4 of them. Oh, yeah. Just play.
I can get more, so don't
Have
be
you
shy.
guys reached out to like schools or PTSAs? You have?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. A lot of the pieces are from the schools and from classrooms and Girl Scouts and yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun collection. Okay, and then this will be exciting for Rachel. So the exhibit lighting out here in City Hall, we've had issues with, some of them flashing or being dim, and we actually got we were starting to get bids to get all of the lighting replaced. So it's in the works. They're supposed to be bringing us out some samples so we can look at them and hang them and see which one we like. We're between 2 different products right now, but that's just an exciting upgrade. I know Rachel's been eagerly waiting for that.
That is so exciting
Yeah.
because we've had so many comments about the flashing lights, and it's going to be beautiful to have it changed. I can't wait.
All right, well, I will pull up our subcommittees, and I think I might even we're going to have to make some big edits to it.
Did we go through our budget?
Oh, did we skip it? Yeah, let me pull that up here too.
But I want to add to it, so.
Okay, I can run through this. So this year for 2024, the commission was given $55,000 of professional services. At our last meeting, we started to break that down. $4,000 was budgeted for the City Hall exhibits, $25,000 for grants, $10,000 for the temporary sculpture that's going in front of City Hall, and $10,000 for the Silver Jubilee photo competition for printing and hanging and that for the City Hall exhibit. And then that leaves $6,000 unallocated, but today we did put some for the library.
So last year we had decided to allocate $3,000 for that, and I would like to make a motion to allocate the same amount this year for the literary art program.
Did you spend it all last year, Sadeshna?
No, I didn't spend anything.
Any, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I move that we allocate $3,000 to the what is it?
Literary art program.
Literary art program.
I second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Awesome. Thank you all.
Aye. I can't. I can't do two things at once.
That leaves us with $3,000 unallocated.
Huh? 3,000. Yeah.
Yeah, 3,000 left to spend, and then there's still 4,000 for supplies. So last year I felt like the art kits that you found, Anne, or if we need more supplies for like actual chalk for the chalkboard, like that'll come out of the 4,000.
So, can I ask a question?
Of course.
The painted plywood for the walls, the movable walls. What if we hired a few artists to help lead, like kind of a paint-in or something like that? Like they could come in and paint, and then invite, some of the community during like a farmer's market to like do like kind of a living mural with a theme, of the butterflies, like the last commissioner was wanting to do, or just we can maybe use some of that money to facilitate the art that goes on the other side of the chalk wall.
We would just have to do like an RFQ again, right? And I don't know how long.
Yeah, we could do one. So we need a motion with a dollar amount and how many artists are we looking for. But yeah, we would do a request for qualifications like we're doing with the temporary. Anytime we're going to pick and pay someone, it needs to go through a grading process.
I would suggest we think about it a little bit and come up with some concrete ideas before we decide to spend money on it, or figuring out if we need an RFQ.
I agree.
Rachel,
Yeah,
do you
that's
maybe want to come up with some ideas and then present them at the next meeting? Of like,
Well, I mean, actually, not really. That was just kind of my idea for now. Just because I'm thinking that it's just going to be white plywood, and what's going to go there, and if we're not really thinking about what's going on the other side, what is it going to be, and who's going to facilitate what's going to be on there? I we kind of need to collectively have some sort of plan of action on what's going to go there, because there's already a concrete plan for one side of it, but the other side, there's a lot of freedom. But I think we kind of need to rein it in and figure out what's it going to be. And I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there.
yeah, I brought the same issue up earlier.
Yeah. Do we have a subcommittee that would be a good place to park that and have the subcommittee work on it?
Well, I think the only problem is if we're going to actually try to get an artist, if I'm going to try to have the other side done and out by the summer, it probably has to start moving.
Yeah.
So I don't know that parking it is.
Well, no, I didn't mean like parking, but I mean, move it to a subcommittee, have the subcommittee do the work to, figure out what it is that we want to do, develop the plan, come back in March and start the work. Because I don't think we can move forward with bringing in anybody that we want to, potentially pay to do anything without going through the process of the RFQ.
Right,
So
we
somebody
shouldn't.
has to come up with generate the ideas, generate the concept, come up with the plan, and bring it back.
But if that's a location that the city offers, right, shouldn't that be addressed in like end of January? We should have some artist propose for it.
So that's basically what we're suggesting to do. So an RFQ is where we put out a proposal saying, we have this space, we need painted. And then if you're interested,
Isn't that what the temporary thing as well is, right?
sort of, but that's like, we want a temporary piece of art. So it's like the same thing where you basically just put it out and any artist can apply and give us their idea. So that way it's fair for everybody interested.
But if it's past, is it? I mean, I'm just looking at fairness, saying it's past January. If we do this, then what stops us from taking a bigger chunk of the budget and saying, okay, come back and do this? Your deadline would be March. Then what happens to the deadline in January then?
I think anybody are you like referring to the grants? Maybe?
Oh, the grants. I mean, yeah, they all applied for that, right? I mean,
Well, so like the grants are a separate thing that like they're similar, but they're not necessarily the same. Am I explaining this right?
Yeah, so the grants, once we give them the money, we don't have control over, they're not doing it for the city or at the city, they're doing it around the city. So it's their project, we're just helping them facilitate that project, which is very different than us commissioning somebody to do some work. And the point that I was trying to bring was, I don't think we have to do an RFQ for every single thing, because we didn't do one for sculpture, the temporary sculpture. So if we have an artist in mind and we just want to go with that artist, we can totally do that.
I just don't know. I think we're trying to get away from that. Is that correct? I think we're trying to make it more like everything is put out there, but I could totally be wrong.
No, you're right. I'm trying to think, what temporary sculpture were you referring to?
The sand sculpture.
That we spent $10,000. There was no RFQ for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's how we operate anymore. It's got to go through a process with grading. It's just to keep everybody.
No, it's great.
Everything fair.
That's great.
We just don't
I
ever
agree.
want someone saying like, "Oh, we hired your neighbor to do work" or something. So there's just checks and balances in place.
Unless there is going to be a discretionary spending part of the budget, a small part.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, there is some of it. So, yes, like when there's programming that we want to put on, I'm trying to think of past projects that you guys have done. Last year was my first year here, so, and we didn't do
Well, like a perfect example could be Sadeshna's. We just gave money to people that we didn't put an RFQ out for. Right? That's like an example of how
But
we
it
could,
was the library. So
Yeah, we're sponsoring what the
I
library
guess,
is
yeah, I
doing.
don't know.
there are all these other ideas that we brought in last year, like your idea of the mirror, or the one with the flowers.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
there's a lot of ideas that we bring in that don't require an RFQ.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
just something that we're passionate about. We bring in front of people and they vote yes or no. So it's something that we can do.
So this is
think
for the
that's
city, right? Like city has something that needs to be accomplished. We just ask people to come and interview them, and then we just let them do the work, right? Something like that. It's like there are no deadlines for it. We just say, here is some wall that we need to like put a painting on or something, and then we just give somebody money to come and then paint it.
Yeah, so usually there is a deadline and we have a time frame for a certain project and we try to do it in that time frame. So to give you an example, last year there was a project of bringing these women who do art with flowers, but the time frame was such that it was going to be cold outside and rainy and it would not have been the perfect time. So we decided not to do it. But we as a committee get to decide what we want to do and when we want to do it. And just, go ahead and
And I'm kind of more under like the idea that we maybe offer the other side to like someone who's interested in doing it for free, since we don't have very much money left, and who knows what the rest of the year is gonna, could happen in the rest of the year. So like maybe we put it out to schools. I don't know.
The youth board did reach out looking for partnerships again this year. Last year, I know they ran a really awesome youth art exhibit over at the library. There's some pretty impressive artists within the youth community here. So they would absolutely help with like a call for artists for a youth artist if we wanted to. Just an idea.
Yeah, I think we should reach out to them. It's a great way to get them involved too. So
I think that some of the supplies we bought at the end of the year last year were for the youth board to be able to use this year for classes and things like that.
Yeah. The youth board ran a arts booth at all the farmers markets on behalf of the Arts Commission last year. So they had your guys' logo up and they did kids crafts with them. And they just returned all of those supplies that didn't get used. There's a ton.
So can you reach out to them? Is that
Yeah, they sent
do we
us
need to make
email.
a motion for that?
What was that?
We don't have to make a motion, right? Just reach out and see
Yeah,
if they're
no,
interested in doing.
they would come to these meetings. They're very like driven kids. So
Yeah,
they
they
did
seem
send
to
an
be.
email. Barbara was, interested. I think I saw you respond that you could connect the dots.
I didn't know whether I should respond to them or not, but it's that I think that would be a really good idea to bring them back into the fold.
Yeah. They also wanted to do musical pop-ups. Remember, they wanted to do like playing instruments in the parks, and so maybe they could partner with like Drawing Herd, or at the wall when people are doing art, they can play music too. And
I'd be more than happy to work with them.
Okay, great.
If anybody else wants to work with them as well, but
How about
You can keep me in the
do
loop.
we have enough music equipment, gear, like speakers and stuff for people to come and just simply play and go? Or
We don't own any of that type of equipment. No, we don't.
I mean, you have art installations. Why not some music equipment, right?
Didn't we used to have some sound? No? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We have an unused piano.
Yeah.
Sitting right outside.
It's tuned. I got it tuned.
There's a great music store that sells amplifiers called More Music down the street if we need to buy any from a local place. If the city ends up wanting to provide amplification for kind of music events, it would be a great idea to have some of that equipment on hand so that it can be done, so that somebody can come in and plug in.
Yeah,
and
you
do
can simply have like a hall where the acoustics is great. You got all the equipment. All you have to do is bring your guitar, plug in, and then play, right?
And
Nice to have all these high schoolers come and try out stuff.
For
you know?
sure.
And that's something that if you're passionate about, you can bring to the next or whatever meeting, and come with a proposal of what you want to see, and we can all hear it. And if it looks interesting and we vote on it, go for it.
Do you want to pull up the subcommittees?
So this was the short list we compiled it down to. Last year, I think we had like 7 different subcommittees. We narrowed it down to 3. We can always add a new one. Just a reminder, we can't have more than 4 because then it's quorum. So these were the 3 we ended with at the end of the year.
More than 4 individuals per subcommittee.
Yes, thank
We can
you for
have more than
clarifying.
4 subcommittees, so.
Correct. Thanks for clarifying that.
And I see that I'm on all of them, so maybe I don't want to be on all of them. Maybe somebody can take over outreach and engagement, because I did do a lot of work on it, so
Well,
you're not
yeah.
starting from scratch.
We're kind of done with grants. I mean, is there much more work to do? So that one's done. Yeah.
So does
Yes,
anybody
this
have
one's
any
to Artist
ideas?
Spotlight. Barbara's project, Artist Spotlight, would fall under this one. So Dashna, do you want me to take you off of there?
I mean, you can keep me there unless anybody else wants to step up.
Well, and do we want to add a subcommittee to support Rachel in the exhibits as well? I know that that's a
I
lot of
think
work,
that's a
so
good
it might
idea.
be nice to have some people supporting her in that.
Do you want that, Rachel?
Actually, I think we're going to need to create a subcommittee for the exhibits because I am not going to be taking on the responsibility any longer.
Okay, perfect. So the exhibits are in the hallway as you come in. And so the subcommittee would just work on finding artists to display their art and coordinating, hanging it, and having like, what do you call the like get-togethers?
Having a reception, artist reception.
Is anybody interested?
I mean, I know we've talked about music, but that would be a perfect opportunity
Totally.
to bring in musicians.
I mean, the music committee need not only bring in musicians, we'll equip ourselves, right? I mean, get the amps, get the speakers, get some good acoustics. Costs a lot.
Yeah.
Can do it over the years and have a great place where anybody can come in and play, try out, right? And invite people too.
We could.
So is anybody interested in taking on the art exhibits?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think you might need like 3-4 people on that committee because Rachel has been doing it on her own last year, and it is a bit of work. And communication is also a big part of that. So just making sure people know about it because nobody does. And we have amazing artists displayed out here even now, and not many people know about it. So doing outreach and engagement. Oh, Rachel, why don't you explain what you need help with?
Rachel, when do you anticipate the new person taking over? That may help too.
So right now, the art that's exhibited there can stay up through March. So probably we're going to need to have a new exhibit coming in at some point after that. However, I don't know what kind of repairs are going to be needing to be done, like with the lighting and everything. And then also there's, the new strategic plan is going in place, and the way that the exhibits are run may change. So I'm not sure. I would definitely like to have some conversations about this at another point, like maybe within a week or so. But right now, the art will still be hanging at least for another month.
Okay.
And we can, and there are also maybe some opportunities to have some people who are from the community who have showed interest in exhibiting their work that haven't displayed yet. So I think that there could be an exhibit easily put in place. But as far as a curated exhibit, I'm not sure who would want to curate it, because there's sometimes some themes to it, and there's a lot to hand over. So it's not something that we could really shortly discuss right now.
Thanks, Rachel. So I think what we do need is at least 3-4 committee members. One main objective is to make sure that it's good quality art that comes in. So maybe, curating an exhibit. This committee would also look into figuring out themes for the year, or just planning out the kinds of exhibits that they want to see, or the duration of the exhibit. So is it 3 exhibits a year, 4 exhibits a year, and so on. In the past, we've worked with the Pacific Northwest Painters Association or something like that. We worked with a lot of Sammamish artists. We've worked with the youth and so on. So it's basically putting out a call and sometimes curating an exhibit, sometimes asking other people to curate an exhibit, maybe having a solo show of some artist. And that's for the committee to decide, I guess. So if anybody's interested, I'm sure Rachel would love to give you an account of what really happens. But I think 3-4 people is an ideal number.
I'd like to say something. When we introduced ourselves, a lot of people said they're artists, right? So they should do this. I mean, if I go in, I'm more into music. Shirag said something about music. So if you are looking at me, I don't know much about art. You know, so many people said they're artists. They put their hands up, right? They should probably take over, right?
I'm not looking at anybody. I'm just putting things out there, and I don't think I have the capacity to be on any more committees. So I'm kind of wiped out.
I'm happy to be on the, a committee, but I'll definitely need help because I'm a total newbie.
Yeah.
Team here for the exhibits one.
Okay,
I
great.
think it will be good to have somebody who's experienced, and a couple of us new folks can be part of it too.
Yeah, I agree.
And
We'll work
Rachel,
through it
would you be interested in being part of the committee if you have help?
Sorry?
I guess maybe for a couple of months.
Okay. Okay, great. So we're looking at least 3 members who can come with a strategy and, plan and present.
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Well, that is it for tonight. So, Barbara, if you want to call the meeting, we can wrap it
Wait,
up.
I thought there was a photo contest. Wasn't there something mentioned about a photo contest?
Yeah, for the Silver Jubilee. So there will be a call for photographers that's going out in a newsletter soon. All the submissions are coming back to the city. We'll present them to the Arts Commission. You guys are going to help us decide what art gets hung in City Hall for the Silver Jubilee. It'll be July through the end of August, and it'll be photos representing Sammamish.
So that will be one.
Yeah.
So should we count that as an exhibit?
Yes, of course. Yeah. While you guys were chatting, I was kind of jotting down a calendar. So if yours come out in March, we can meet later this week and kind of discuss. But I think we'll probably only need 1, maybe 2 more art shows created for the year.
And sorry, I missed this most likely. There's $10,000 allocated to the photo contest.
Yeah, for printing, framing, hanging, we probably won't use all 10,000, but it depends how many photos we also decide on for sizing. We might get 30 great photos submitted. We might get 300. So we'll see what the commission decides.
Any chance we get a subcommittee for music?
We sure can. Yeah.
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 We need 3 people. I can volunteer for that.
You can be a solo committee, no problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So there's 2? Okay.
One more time. 1, 2. Great. Thank you.
Official newbie. Only for today's meeting.
All right. Any closing questions, comments?
What about chair? Are we just going to leave no chair?
Chair and co-chair. So we do need to vote on chair and co-chair. Typically that does happen in the February meeting. I felt like that was a lot for when we have new folks. So at the next meeting in March, we will vote on chair and co-chair. So as you can see, our Barbara did a great job helping facilitate the meeting. That's the co-chair's role. We don't currently have a chair at the moment. So if folks are interested, come to the meeting in March. Mention yourself, you can nominate each other, and we'll vote on a chair and co-chair. I will say the chair and co-chair I do communicate with a little bit more throughout the month as things come up, or sometimes council will like to see when we present big topics at council meetings. So there's a little bit more involvement, but I try not to take up too much of your volunteering time. But there's a little bit more responsibility with chair and co-chair. Yeah. Okay.
And on that note, it is now 8:16 and meeting is adjourned. I know. It's